Former top manager at Indianapolis Animal Care Services is asking for the agency's interim director to be removed. She claims the interim director is misrepresenting conditions inside the overcrowded shelter.
The shelter is home to more than 250 dogs. News 8's Kyla Russell is talking with that former manager to reveal details about what happened behind closed doors. Kyla.
Gnats, cockroaches, mice, and animals with open wounds. These pictures from former workers at IACS. They're all hygiene problems former managers say Director Kelly Diamond isn't addressing.
They only get to go out once a day. There's going to be a lot more waste in their kennel, a lot more hygiene issues. They could be covered in their own waste. Also, when dogs are stressed, they'll pace in their kennel back and forth, bounce off the walls, hit their head on the roof, and it can actually cause like sore, bleeding paws.
And Wyatt says the issues will only get worse with the new volunteer policy imposed by Diamond. Daily volunteer hours will now end 2 hours earlier. Wyatt says that change means many of the dogs will spend at least 23 and a half hours a day indoors and inside a crate. Diamond said in a statement, having volunteers inside the building without management supervision presents safety risks.
There's going to be less eyes on the animals, and so if an animal comes back from surgery and there's complications, no one's going to catch it. So for example, volunteers have found animals with their incision open from their surgery, space surgery, intestines coming out, and they're able to take care of those animals.
Volunteers put in over 30,000 hours of work at the shelter a year. When managers have offered to stay late so that volunteers can be there, they say Diamond told them no. This change, in addition to many others, doesn't help ease another main concern Wyatt has about Diamond's leadership: morale among staff and volunteers. In a January council meeting, Diamond claimed workplace culture had improved in recent months. Many say that's not the case.
Staff were ignoring concerns, making changes without communicating, pushing staff out, invalidating people's feelings, making staff feel disposable. Top-down leadership, my way or the highway attitude with staff, making volunteers feel less than, not appreciated, maybe even not wanted to be there.
This workplace culture reflection from last year backs that up. In the middle of your screen, there's a laundry list of concerns submitted by dozens of workers. Some like gross environment, no supplies, and feeling disposable. Lauren told me the shelter had a period of nearly 100% staff turnover last year. The list on the left of your screen highlights Lauren's third major concern. Diamond's claim the shelter went from many open crates to none.
And she attributed it to these off-site adoption events that we are having. But in reality, at the same time, we were dramatically decreasing our intake. Appointment times have been a lot further out if you want to surrender a stray or your own animal.
Each one of the concerns prompted Lauren and her former colleagues to call on the City County Council to make sure Kelly Diamond doesn't become the permanent leader. I reached out to Kelly Diamond for any response. She referred us to the same statement we received last week. Over the last month since Kelly Diamond's appointment was introduced to the City County Council, she has had numerous conversations with counselors, and she's looking forward to continuing those conversations. Kelly is committed to advocating for the animals in our city and is eager to work with the council on issues related to animal welfare. Kelly Diamond has been leading Indianapolis Animal Care Services as interim director since 2023. The City County Council was expected to make the job permanent last week, but instead sent the motion to a committee to hear public testimony. You can share your comments on Wednesday at a Community Affairs Committee meeting in the City County building. Live in studio, I'm Kyla Russell for Wish TV. WishTV.com or follow us on Facebook for updates.
Hey, Kyla, thank you very much. The proposed change to Indiana's birth control access laws is stirring controversy tonight. Amendments added to a bill removes condoms and long-acting contraceptives from a new state program focusing instead on fertility awareness methods. News 8's Raina Revel breaks down what this could mean for reproductive health.
While supporters claim that this bill will improve education for low-income Hoosiers, critics worry it limits access to essential contraceptive options.
We have less unplanned pregnancies. That's a good thing. That's a very good thing. Two, we get our Medicaid rolls under control. And not only is that a compassionate thing, that's a fiscally sound thing to do. So it's a win-win.
Representative Jim Lucas is author of House Bill 1169. The bill aims to establish a taxpayer-funded access to birth control program for those earning up to 185% of the federal poverty level. This is to address what Representative Lucas calls an unsustainable trend of nearly half of Indiana births covered by Medicaid.
Since 2017, Medicaid has paid for, on average, 53% of the births in our state. There's only been 1 year out of the many that Medicaid did not pay for the majority of the births. Currently, we have 1.8 million Hoosiers out of 6.8 million Hoosiers. That's an unsustainable number.
Initially, the bill offered a wide range of contraceptive options, but recent changes took out condoms and IUDs, or long-lasting contraceptives. Instead, it limited options to hormonal patches and self-administered drugs for Medicaid-eligible residents. Advocacy groups like Planned Parenthood argued this undermines comprehensive access and raises concerns about maternal mortality rates. The organization said in a statement, quote, "In a state where nearly 25% of counties are maternity care deserts and the third highest maternal mortality rate in the country, ensuring that all Hoosiers have access to information regarding all methods of birth control options is imperative."
I would tell people not worry just yet. We're not anywhere near the finish line. There is a process up here. There's the committee process. Getting a committee hearing, first and foremost, is the most important thing for any piece of legislation. Without that, you're dead in the water. Once you get a committee hearing, then the process starts.
Reporting in Indianapolis, I'm Raina Revel for Wish TV, wishtv.com, or follow us on Facebook for updates.
Mayor Joe Hogsett is instructing Indy DPW to adopt a 4-inch standard for plowing residential streets in Indianapolis for the remainder of what is the current snow season. The new plan is in response to the January snowfall. You recall, left some neighborhood streets covered for several weeks after the storm. People in some neighborhoods say their streets didn't get plowed at all. Mayor Hogsett says a fully new residential snow response will set out clear expectations for when and how neighborhood streets will be plowed. It'll be introduced during next year's budget process ahead of the winter season.
Speaking of the weather, let's talk about it here. Clear skies and sunny conditions after some early snow across the city this morning.